Hi, this is James. Welcome back to the channel. So glad you are here. Big thank you to everybody who has subscribed recently. I just want to let you know the purpose of the channel is we're here to expose wolves in sheep's clothing. I am absolutely fed up with all of these scandals. I'm tired of people claiming to serve Jesus, but yet act like wolves. And I'm going to tell you why I'm just adjusting my light here. I'm going to tell you why at the end of this video. Big shout out to Not By Sight News for covering this. And big thank you to Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson. By the way, one of her reps called me this morning. Or I should say, it's actually past midnight. So, by the way, I'm a night owl. So technically it was yesterday that they called. And so what I've done is all of the information that I had about how to report Doug Weiss and his counseling, I've gave that to Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson's rep. So if you are one of the whistleblowers and you have experienced abuse at the hands of Doug Weiss. Of course, Blind Christian Guy refers to it as mistreatment. You and I know what we're talking about here. There's a word that rhymes with grape. If you've experienced something like that, and I'm deadly serious when I say this, please go to the Colorado website and report this. This guy should not be counseling anybody. So, but today I want to talk about the culture of Daystar. And more former Daystar staff are coming forward. And this is not good. This is not good at all. But I'm going to explain at the end of the video, I'm going to explain why this happens. So you're not going to want to miss this. Please, watch all the way through, because according to the person who wrote Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson, and this letter was read on an interview that she did on December 20th. Quote, "There's nothing Christian about it." She was talking about Marcus and Joni Lamb in the way they acted, the way they treated people. And I was told a long time ago by a very wise person, when you go, bear with me, I'm making a comparison here. When you go on a date with somebody, watch how they treat the waiter and waitress. Watch how they treat the help. Watch how they treat people that they don't have to be nice to these people, but they do it anyway, because you slowly over time what you learn is that they do it because that's a part of their character, that they are good to as many people as they possibly can be. Those are the type of people you want to settle down with. But Marcus would go on these profanity-filled tyrants, or just rants, and yell at people and scream at people. And then when the camera's turned on, "Oh, hi, I'm Marcus." Apparently this person worked in the films and camera area of Daystar because they were under Rachel Lamb Brown's authority, and they said that Rachel basically led like a tyrant. And you hear this kind of stuff and you're like, how is this possible? How could they be so nice on camera but yet so awful behind the scenes? I almost feel like Paul Harvey. Now we're here the rest of the story. I've been reading a lot of Dr. Diane Lamberg recently, and one of the things that she pointed out was that it's about the a lot of times churches will grow because they have a minister who is very gifted, has a lot of talents. They're very talented public speakers, but they don't have the Christ-like character to support the success that they have. So in other words, they give some good sermons, people start talking, hey, you want to come check out this church? This is a really good church. You're going to love it. And it starts to grow. But with success, there's expectations, and the service turns into a performance rather than an offering to God. Well, when I go to church, and if I'm preaching, my goal is to inspire people to be more like Jesus. I'm not there to get people to look at me or to pay attention. I'm flawed. I make mistakes. I'm human. Now, thankfully, by the grace of God, I'm not sinless. But I will tell you by the grace of God that I sin less. A whole lot less than I used to when I was in my 20s. So the point is that these people, like a Marcus and Joni Lamb, like Robert Morris, like even Jim Baker, Jimmy Swaggart, some of the other ministers who have fallen in the past, they may have tremendous speaking gifts, but they don't have the character to handle the success. Ted Haggard, perfect example, had a huge church in Colorado, was accused of multiple mistreatment of young boys. If you look at the stuff on the outside, the performance numbers, baptisms of Southern Baptist Church is really guilty of that, because that's their number one thing that they measure churches by. Who has the most baptisms? That Diane Lamberg says that's all ego food. It feeds the ego. A real measure of a successful ministry is how much more are your people displaying Christ-like behavior. And I'll tell you right now, I mean, there are areas that I need to grow in. When somebody cuts me off in traffic, I don't know if they're in a hurry. Heck, they could be late for work. Who am I to judge this person? But God's working on my heart. God's dealing with me in that area. I just mention it here because I'm trying to be open and transparent and let you know I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. But the reason this keeps happening over and over again is because churches are focusing more on leaders who are charismatic. They've got all these gifts. They've got this great personality in the public. And what needs to happen is churches need to do serious interviews and then talk to the references. What are they like when things go bad? What are they like when things aren't going so good? What are they like when they're having a bad day? I can at least say, and I praise God for this, that over the last couple months, things physically for me haven't been great. But I can say I have consistently been more on my knees praying and seeking God. I can at least say that. And I've also found a way, not only to work, but coming home from work, where I'm listening to my audio Bible more consistently and really getting into the Bible and just asking God, what are some areas in my life that I need to change? And it's been good. It's been good. I feel like I'm growing spiritually. But that's the kind of stuff that some of these wolves in sheep's clothing, they talk about it, but they're not doing it. And remember, and I love this illustration, and I want to close with this. If I were to take a big piece of coal and you squeeze it and you squeeze it and you squeeze it, obviously I'm not strong enough like the earth. What happens in the earth is much more powerful than I could do with my hand. But if you were to take a big, huge piece of coal and put a lot of pressure on it, eventually it would become a diamond. It's that process of becoming that's painful. And I think what happens a lot of times is we get so enamored with people's gifts that we forget that what makes a true Christian leader is the character that they have, the character that they possess in here. That they're striving to become more like Jesus every day. And the fame and fortune, they don't care about it. And quite honestly, I can't talk about my day job here, but yeah, I preach on Sundays. Not to a very large group, but I don't care. I don't care if 4 people show up. If I have 4 people sitting in front of me, I'm going to read the text and I'm going to expound on it and I'm going to encourage them to be more like Jesus. Because that's what ministers are supposed to do. Yeah, the idea of Daystar and them trying to share the gospel with the entire world, that's by itself is a great idea. But when you're more focused on the performance and you're more focused on the numbers and you're more focused on the money rather than on the ministry, that's when the real character rises up to the surface. And the fact that Marcus was yelling and screaming at people, it's not okay. It's not okay. You can't do that. And now we know why Rachel Lamb also accessed it. Because, I'm sorry, one more quick point. I wasn't thinking about this, but I think this is important. Parents, your children are going to replicate what they see. You can tell them all the greatest stuff in the world, but if they don't see it in your life, they're not going to do that. And the fact that former Daystar employees are talking about how Rachel Lamb Brown was like a tyrant, that ought to tell you something. Where did she see that kind of behavior? I will tell you this, it's nothing like John 13. Go on your own later, after the video's over, go look at John 13. Look at what Jesus did when he washed the feet of his disciples. When he was done, he said, "What I've done for you. Now you go and do for others. Ministers are servants. We encourage people. We inspire people. We point people to Christ. We don't yell and scream at people. So, anyway, if you are new, please hit like and subscribe. I want to thank you for being here. Thank you so much for watching. I can't appreciate you enough. And since you watched all the way through, I will tell you that I pray for my subscribers on a daily basis. So, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this community. Please tell others about the channel. And if you're one of the unfortunate ones that was ever mistreated by Doug Weiss, I'm going to put the link here below. Please file a formal complaint. This wolf, he should never be counseling anybody ever again. So, thanks for watching. I will see you tomorrow.